April 27, 1945. The sun beats down on a quiet road outside the small village of Donco, northern Italy. Dust swirls in the breeze, carrying the distant echo of gunfire and the low hum of Allied planes over the Alps. Italian partisans crouch behind hedgerows and crumbling walls. Rifles trained, eyes wide. There, through the heat haze, a black Alfa Romeo slows. Carrying two figures in desperate disguise, Benito Mussolini and Clara Petacci, the Duce's once mighty aura of authority is gone, replaced by fear and the unmistakable weight of impending doom. Shots ring out. God, you can almost feel the panic, the thud of bullets striking the vehicle, the shouts of partisans coordinating their ambush. The car skids to a stop, and Mussolini stumbles, unsteady in his civilian clothes. A dictator stripped of power, stripped of pride. Around him, the resistance fighters converge, faces hardened by years of occupation, eyes burning with the taste of long-awaited vengeance. The capture is swift, almost surreal, as if the decades of tyranny are being undone in mere moments. In the tense quiet that follows, partisans search the area for collaborators. Securing the road while Mussolini and Petacci are bound, you can almost hear the collective heartbeat of those who have waited years for this moment, the anticipation mingling with disbelief. Even as the Duce protests, there is no mercy. Every step the partisans take is methodical, deliberate, a choreography of justice long denied. By midday, word spreads to Milan. Crowds gather at Piazzale Loreto, whispers growing into chants, disbelief into defiance. Mussolini's body, alongside Petacci, is hung upside down from the gas station's girder, a macabre tableau that transforms grief into cathartic spectacle. You can almost feel the weight of history pressing down the faces of citizens, scarred by oppression, now witnessing a tyrant humbled, humanized only by his mortality. Each cheer, each cry, carries decades of suffering released in one shocking display. This public spectacle is not merely revenge, it is the birth pangs of a new Italy, a nation stepping out of the shadow of dictatorship. The partisans, having risked everything to reach this moment, now stand as the living embodiment of resistance. Around them, the axis collapse is unmistakable, the final threads of tyranny unraveling in the eyes of those who fought, suffered, and survived. From the sun-drenched roads of Donco to the crowded streets of Milan, Italy's darkest tyrant has met a fate unimagined. His downfall, a stark herald of liberation and rebirth. The streets of Milan pulse with an energy that is equal parts awe and fury. Citizens press close to the square, craning their necks to see the once untouchable Duce dangling above them, his black cloak fluttering like a dark flag of defeat. You can almost feel the collective gasp of a city long held under the boot of fascism, a shockwave of disbelief turned to triumph. Children clutch their mothers' hands, elders wipe tears from their eyes, and in every corner, whispers turn into murmurs of vindication. Resistance fighters move among the crowd, faces streaked with sweat and grime, rifles slung but eyes watchful. For them, this is more than vengeance, it is proof that years of clandestine operations, sabotage, and intelligence work have yielded a tangible, undeniable victory. They had imagined Mussolini overthrown, of course, but nothing could have prepared them for the raw, almost theatrical reality of seeing him suspended, helpless, and humiliated. Every shout of triumph from the crowd reverberates like a drumbeat, a rhythm marking the end of tyranny in Italy. Nearby, journalists and photographers capture every angle, every expression, knowing that these images will travel far beyond the cobbled streets. You can almost hear the click of cameras mixing with the roar of voices, mortalizing a moment that blends justice with spectacle. Allied officers observe from a respectful distance, aware that Mussolini's death is a pivotal signal. Italy is no longer a battlefield under the control of a dictator, but a liberated nation on the cusp of reconstruction. As the day wears on, the square begins to transform into a theater of reckoning. Locals, armed with hammers and ropes, ensure the Duce's body remains suspended as a symbol, each action underscored by years of pent-up anger. You can almost feel the tension in the air as some scream at the corpse, others weep quietly, and yet all are united in the unspoken acknowledgement that history is being rewritten before their eyes. The sense of liberation is palpable. The oppressive shadow of fascism has been pierced by the courage and resilience of ordinary Italians who refuse to bow. By sunset, Piazzale Loreto is a living testament to both retribution and rebirth. Mussolini's end, once unimaginable, now dominates the consciousness of a nation. The partisans, exhausted but resolute, begin to disperse. Their mission complete, yet their minds already turning to the future rebuilding, healing and ensuring that tyranny can never again rise unchecked. In that one grim yet defining day, Italy witnesses the full collapse of a dictator's myth, the vivid. An irrevocable proof that courage, persistence, and unity can topple even the most formidable of regimes. In the days following Mussolini's death, the impact ripples far beyond Milan. Word spreads quickly through Italy's liberated cities and villages. The tyrant is gone. His body displayed as a grim reminder of the consequences of oppression. You can almost feel the mixture of exhilaration and relief that sweeps through towns, as families who had hidden, resisted, or endured under fascist rule now breathe easier, their survival validated by this dramatic turn of events. Partisan leaders meet in quiet corners to coordinate the next phase of the liberation effort. Weapons caches are secured, communications restored, and networks of local governance begin to replace the void left by fascist collapse. The execution of Mussolini has done more than end a life. It has shattered the aura of invincibility that had long protected the regime. Soldiers who once fought for Mussolini's forces now surrender without resistance, unwilling to fight for a leader whose power is unmistakably broken. Meanwhile, Allied forces advance steadily, encouraged by the partisans' actions. You can almost hear the distant hum of tanks and the rhythmic crunch of boots on gravel, a reminder that the liberation of Italy is accelerating. Coordination between local resistance and Allied units becomes seamless, fueled by the symbolic weight of Mussolini's fall. Every town reclaimed, every road secured. Feels like a direct consequence of that one decisive moment in Piazzale Loreto, where tyranny met its public reckoning. Amid this shifting landscape, ordinary Italians begin reclaiming their streets, shops, and homes. Children play in squares once filled with fear. Vendors set up stalls where propaganda once hung, and the air is filled with the scent of food, smoke, and freedom. You can almost sense the collective sigh of a nation exhaling after decades of oppression. The partisans, though heroes, remain humble. Blending back into the crowds, their names unrecorded, yet their actions echoing in every liberated street. By the end of the week, the psychological victory is as profound as the military one. Mussolini's public humiliation has galvanized the population, stilled courage, and cemented the authority of freedom over fear. From the village roads of Donco to the heart of Milan, the lesson is clear. No tyrant is untouchable, and no oppression is eternal. The Italian people, through resistance, courage, and unity, have reclaimed not only their nation, but their dignity, ensuring that the memory of fascism's fall will endure for generations. As Italy begins to pick up the pieces, the echo of Mussolini's downfall continues to shape the nation's psyche. Streets that were once patrolled by black-shirted enforcers now teem with ordinary citizens reclaiming their city. You can almost hear the chatter of neighbors trading news, the laughter of children in courtyards once silenced by fear, the rhythmic hammering of shutters being repaired and shops reopening. Each sound is a note in the symphony of liberation, a living testament to resilience and renewal. Partisan fighters, still armed but no longer hunted, walk among the people. Their presence a reminder of the courage it took to topple a dictator. You can almost feel the weight of their sacrifices, the sleepless nights, and the constant danger they faced, now transformed into quiet pride and subtle acknowledgement from those whose lives they saved. For many, Mussolini's end is not just a political turning point, but a deeply personal vindication. Years of oppression and terror finally met with justice. In Milan, the gas station at Piazza Loreto becomes an unintended shrine, drawing those who want to witness history firsthand. Soldiers and civilians alike recount the day they saw Mussolini dangling upside down, the image seared into memory as both horror and triumph. You can almost sense the tension of that day still vibrating through the city, a visceral reminder that power is fragile, it's proper, and the oppressed, when united, can overturn even the most entrenched tyranny. Allied commanders note the transformation as well. Communications between resistance groups and advancing units improve, logistics become smoother, and the liberation accelerates. The fall of a dictator has a ripple effect far beyond the spectacle itself. It destabilizes remaining fascist forces, shatters morale, and empowers those who had once hidden in fear. Every village liberated, every road cleared, every checkpoint secured owes a debt to the symbolic and literal victory at Milan. By the end of the spring, Italy is irrevocably changed. Mussolini's death serves as both a warning and an inspiration. Tyranny, no matter how formidable, can be dismantled, and the courage of ordinary people acting decisively can alter the course of history. From the hills of Dongo to the urban heart of Milan, Italy has turned a page, stepping into a dawn forged in blood, courage, and unyielding resolve. The Partisans' audacious actions will forever echo as the catalyst for liberation, ensuring that the memory of Mussolini's fall remains a lesson in both justice and the power of collective will. The weeks following Mussolini's death solidify a new chapter for Italy. Cities once suffocated by fascist banners now breathe freedom. As civic institutions are rebuilt and local governance returns to the hands of those who endured years of oppression, you can almost feel the cautious optimism in the air, the scent of bread from reopened bakeries, the clatter of construction and bombed-out streets, the murmur of citizens discussing elections for the first time in decades. Every corner of Italy carries the tangible energy of a nation reclaiming itself. Resistance fighters, once cloaked in secrecy and shadows, step into the light. Their courage has not only toppled a dictator, but also inspired civilians to believe in their agency, to understand that collective action can challenge even the most absolute power. You can almost sense the pride that radiates from these men and women, faces lined with fatigue, eyes bright with triumph, voices steady as they recount battles fought and victories won. The fall of Mussolini is more than an event. It is the seed from which a new Italy will grow. Across the country, stories of the Partisans' audacity spread like wildfire, reaching villages, towns, and cities still under transition. Each tale reinforces the notion that ordinary people, armed with courage and resolve, can alter the trajectory of history. You can almost hear the whispers in cafes, the debates in town halls, the conversations at dinner tables, all centered on resistance, liberation, and the lessons of tyranny's collapse. This narrative becomes a unifying thread for a fractured nation, knitting together citizens who had endured years of fear into a society ready to rebuild. Even the Allies recognized the psychological impact: Mussolini's public demise and the Partisans. Decisive action emboldened cooperation between local forces and the advancing Allied armies. Strategic objectives are met with less resistance. Infrastructure is reclaimed more efficiently, and civilian support strengthens the logistics of liberation. You can almost feel the tension between old oppression and new freedom dissolving with each liberated town. A palpable sense that Italy's darkest chapter has ended, and the promise of self-determination is beginning. By the summer of 1945, Italy stands transformed. Mussolini's fall, from the roads of Dongo to the square of Milan, has not only marked the literal end of a tyrant, but also the symbolic dawn of a liberated nation. You can almost feel the heartbeat of a country renewed, its citizens resilient, its partisans heroic, and its future unwritten yet brimming with possibility. In this cascade of courage, retribution, and liberation, history has witnessed the profound truth: when oppression falls, it is the people who rise. And Italy's journey from tyranny to freedom is forever etched in the annals of the Second World War.